I'm standing in front of a full-length mirror in my penthouse suite, and the woman staring back at me is someone I barely recognize. She's wearing a custom-designed emerald gown that costs more than the rent on the tiny apartment where I raised my daughter alone for the first 5 years of her life. Her hair is professionally styled, her makeup is flawless, and around her neck is a diamond necklace that could pay off a mortgage. She looks powerful, successful, untouchable. She looks nothing like the broken 24-year-old woman who sat on a bathroom floor 7 years ago, crying over a positive pregnancy test and a note that read, "I can't do this.
I'm sorry."
That woman, the one who begged her husband not to leave, who promised she'd be less of a burden, who apologized for getting pregnant even though it took 2 people to create a life, she's gone. Buried under years of struggle and determination and refusal to stay down. In her place is Amelia Brooks, founder and CEO of Brooks & Daughters, one of the fastest-growing fashion empires in the country. A woman whose designs are worn by celebrities and featured in Vogue. A woman who built something from nothing while raising a child alone. A woman who proved that being abandoned doesn't mean you're disposable. It just means you're free to become something the person who left you could never imagine. Tonight is the annual Children's Charity Gala. 500 of the city's most influential people gathered to raise money for underprivileged kids. I'm being honored for my foundation's work providing scholarships and resources to single mothers trying to build better lives for their children. It's an award I'm genuinely proud of, not because of the recognition, but because it represents using my pain to help others avoid the same struggle. My assistant, Rebecca, knocks on the door. "Car's ready, Ms. Brooks." "Are you?" "Am I ready?" That's a complicated question. Because tonight isn't just about receiving an award. Tonight is about seeing him again for the first time in 7 years. Ethan Cole, my ex-husband. The man who left me pregnant and penniless. The man who chose ambition over family. The man who's now bankrupt, divorced from the woman he left me for, and working as a mid-level manager at a company that's sponsoring tonight's event.
He has no idea I'll be there.
No idea that the woman he abandoned became someone he'd recognize from magazine covers and business profiles. No idea that the quiet, simple girl he thought would hold him back actually soared the moment he stopped weighing her down. "I'm ready," I tell Rebecca. And I mean it. Before we go one step further into this story, don't scroll past this. You've already started listening, so stay with me for a second. You know that feeling when a story pulls you in so deep, it's like you're living it? That's exactly what this channel is all about. If you're still here, it means this story already has your attention, so don't just listen in silence. Tap subscribe right now so you never miss another voice, another twist, another moment that hits where words can't. And if this story made you feel something, sadness, anger, or even hope, then hit that like button right now. Your support keeps these stories coming, and trust me, the next one will hit even harder. So, let's continue. 7 years ago, I was Amelia Brooks, 24 years old, newly married, and completely in love with my husband Ethan Cole. We'd met in college. I was studying fashion design, he was in business school, and we'd bonded over late-night study sessions and dreams about the futures we wanted to build. Ethan was ambitious, driven. He talked constantly about making it big, about building an empire, about being someone people respected and admired. And I loved that about him. Loved his passion and his vision and his refusal to settle for ordinary. I was quieter, more practical. My dreams were smaller, or at least they seemed smaller to him. I wanted to design clothes that made women feel beautiful. I wanted a small boutique, maybe, or to work for a fashion house. I wanted a family, not right away, but eventually. I wanted a life that felt warm and meaningful and full. "We're going to do amazing things together," Ethan would say, his arm around me, looking out at the city from our tiny apartment window. "You're going to design clothes that everyone wants to wear. I'm going to build businesses that matter. We're going to be the power couple everyone envies." I believed him, believed in us, believed that we were partners building toward the same future. We got married right after graduation. Nothing fancy. We didn't have money for fancy. Just a simple ceremony at City Hall with a few friends, followed by dinner at a restaurant we couldn't really afford but splurged on anyway because it was our wedding day. I promise you, Ethan said that night, holding my hand across the table, I'm going to give you everything you deserve. I'm going to work so hard that you'll never have to worry about money. That you can focus on your designs without stress. That we can build the life we've always talked about. I don't need everything, I told him. I just need you. We'll build it together. Together, he agreed. And we meant it. At least, I thought we both meant it. The first 2 years were hard but happy. Ethan worked brutal hours at a startup that barely paid him. I freelanced as a designer, taking on small projects, building a portfolio, dreaming about starting my own line someday. We were broke most of the time. Ate ramen more nights than we care to remember. Couldn't afford to go out or take vacations or do any of the things people our age were doing. But we were together. We were building something. And I thought that was enough. Then Ethan got his big break. A tech investor noticed his work and offered him a position at a venture capital firm. Real money. Real opportunities. Real prestige. Ethan was thrilled. This was what he'd been working toward, what he'd sacrificed for. This changes everything, he told me, practically vibrating with excitement. This is it, Amelia. This is the opportunity that's going to make us. I'm so proud of you, I said. And I was. Genuinely, completely proud. But something shifted after that. Ethan started working even longer hours. Started attending networking events and industry parties and dinners with wealthy people who made me feel small and unsophisticated. Started caring more about appearances, the right clothes, the right car, the right image. You should come to this event tonight, he'd say sometimes. But his tone suggested he didn't really want me to come. Suggested I wouldn't fit in with his new world of ambitious professionals and old money. I have work, I'd say. Or I'm tired. Making excuses instead of admitting that I felt like I didn't belong in his life anymore. We started fighting. Little things at first. He'd forget to tell me he'd be home late. I'd get frustrated that we never spent time together anymore. Then bigger things. He'd criticize my career for not being ambitious enough. I'd accuse him of becoming someone I didn't recognize. You're holding me back, he said during one particularly bad fight. I'm trying to build something here, and you're content to stay small. To design clothes for nobody. To not want more. I do want more, I said. But I want more that includes us. Includes time together. Includes actually being married instead of just living in the same apartment. Maybe that's the problem, he said. Maybe you want a different life than I want. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't know if we want the same things anymore. That fight ended with him sleeping on the couch and me crying in our bedroom, terrified that my marriage was falling apart and not knowing how to fix it. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. I took 3 pregnancy tests just to be sure. All positive. All unmistakable. I was pregnant. We were going to have a baby. My first emotion was fear. We weren't ready. We were barely keeping ourselves afloat financially. Our marriage was strained. This was terrible timing. But underneath the fear was something else. Something that felt almost like hope. A baby. Our baby. Maybe this would be what brought us back together. Reminded us what mattered. Gave us a shared purpose beyond just surviving. I decided to tell Ethan that night. Made his favorite dinner. Bought a onesie that said, "World's luckiest dad," to surprise him with. Practiced what I'd say 100 times in my head. He came home late, exhausted. Barely acknowledged the dinner I'd made. We need to talk, I said, my heart pounding. Can it wait? I've had a really long day and I just want to. It can't wait. Please, Ethan. Just sit down for 5 minutes. He sat, looking at his phone. Already half checked out. I'm pregnant, I said. His head snapped up. What?
I'm pregnant.
About 6 weeks along. I just found out today. The expression on his face, I'll never forget it. Not happiness. Not excitement. Not even worry. Just horror.
Pure un dilute d'horror.
You're serious? Yes. How did this happen? How do you think it happened? We were careful. We used protection. Not every time. And nothing is 100%. This can't be happening. He stood up, started pacing. This cannot be happening right now. Ethan, I know it's unexpected, but we'll figure out. People do this all the time. We'll figure it out? Amelia, I can barely afford rent on this apartment. I'm trying to build my career. I'm trying to establish myself. I can't afford a baby. We can't afford a baby. We'll find a way. I'll work more. We'll budget better. We'll.
No.
His voice was flat.
Cold.
No, we won't. What are you saying? I'm saying this isn't what I want. I'm not ready for this. I don't want to be a father right now. You don't get to choose that. I'm already pregnant. The baby is already. Then get rid of it. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? You heard me. Get rid of it. Have an abortion. We'll tell people it was a miscarriage or just not tell anyone at all. We'll move on with our lives like this never happened. I can't do that. I won't do that. Then you're making a choice. You're choosing this baby over me, over our marriage, over our future. That's not fair. You're the one making me choose. You're the one saying you can't handle being a parent. I can't.
He was shouting now.
I can't handle this. I'm 26 years old. I'm just starting to get somewhere in my career, and now you're telling me I'm going to be responsible for another human being? That my life is over? That everything I've worked for has to take a back seat to changing diapers and midnight feedings and all the shit that comes with having a kid? Having a family isn't the end of your life, Ethan. It's just a different kind of life. A life I don't want.
Not now.
Maybe not ever. Then what do you want? I want out. Silence. Heavy, crushing silence. Out of what? I whispered. Out of this. Out of this marriage. Out of this situation. Out of feeling trapped by someone else's choices. They're not just my choices. This is our baby. Our situation. Our responsibility.
No.
It's your responsibility now. Because I'm done. He walked to our bedroom. Started pulling clothes out of the closet, shoving them into a suitcase. What are you doing? I followed him, panic rising in my chest. I'm leaving. You can't leave. We're married. We're having a baby. You can't just. Watch me. He zipped the suitcase, grabbed his laptop, his charger, his toiletries from the bathroom. Ethan, please. Please don't do this. We can figure this out. We can make it work. I'll do whatever you need. I'll be less demanding. I'll support your career. You'll what? Not be pregnant? Because that's the only thing that would change my mind right now. Don't say that. Don't say our baby is a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's just not mine. Not anymore. You made a choice to keep it. That's your choice. But you don't get to make me stay for it. We're married. You took vows. You promised. I promised to love you. I did love you. But I can't love someone who traps me. Who ruins my life. I didn't trap you. We created this baby together. This isn't something I did to you. But he wasn't listening. Was already walking toward the door with his suitcase. Ethan, please. Please don't leave me. I'm pregnant and scared, and I need you. Please. He stopped at the door.
Turned to look at me.
And for a moment, I thought he'd changed his mind. Thought he'd come back. Thought he'd remember who we were to each other. I'm sorry, Amelia, he said. But I can't do this. I won't do this. You'll be fine. You're stronger than you think. But I can't sacrifice everything I've worked for because you decided to keep a baby I didn't want. I decided? You made this baby with me. And you decided to keep it. That's on you. He walked out. The door closed. And I heard his footsteps fade down the hallway, out of the building, out of my life. I stood there for I don't know how long. Maybe minutes. Maybe hours. Time didn't mean anything anymore. Then I slid down the wall, pulled my knees to my chest, careful of my still flat belly where my baby was growing, and I cried. I cried until I couldn't breathe, until my whole body ached, until there was nothing left inside me but emptiness and shock and the terrible realization that I was completely, utterly alone. The next morning, I woke up on the floor. My phone had a text from Ethan. I'm filing for divorce. My lawyer will contact you. I'm not paying child support for a baby I didn't want. Don't try to contact me. And just like that, my marriage was over. My future was gone. My partner had abandoned me. And I was 24, pregnant, broke, and more terrified than I'd ever been in my life. The divorce was quick. Brutal, but quick. Ethan's lawyer was expensive and aggressive. Mine was free legal aid because I couldn't afford anything else. Ethan claimed the pregnancy wasn't his, that I'd been unfaithful, that he had no obligation to support a child he didn't believe was his. It was a lie, of course, but proving it required a paternity test, which couldn't happen until after the baby was born. And even then, the legal process would take months. I got nothing in the divorce. The apartment was in his name. We had no shared assets. Everything of value was his. I walked away with my clothes, my design supplies, and a monthly rent bill I couldn't pay. I moved back to my hometown, a small place I'd left for college and never intended to return to. Moved in with my Aunt Linda, the only family I had left after my parents died in a car accident when I was 19. Aunt Linda was kind but practical. She let me stay rent-free, but made it clear I needed to contribute, needed to find work, needed to prepare for this baby I was having alone. You got yourself into this situation, she said, not unkindly. Now you need to get yourself out of it. She was right. This was my situation, my responsibility, my life to figure out. I found work at a local clothing alteration shop. It wasn't designing. It wasn't creative. It was hemming pants and letting out waists and fixing buttons for $10 an hour. But it was work. It was money. It was something. I worked until the day I went into labor. Worked through morning sickness and exhaustion and the judgment of customers who saw my growing belly and no ring on my finger and made assumptions about who I was and what I'd done. You're so young to be having a baby alone, one woman said while I pinned her dress. Where's the father? Not here, I said quietly. Well, maybe you should have been more careful. I wanted to tell her I had been careful, that I'd been married, that I'd been abandoned, that this wasn't the life I'd planned. But I didn't. I just finished pinning her dress and took her money and tried not to cry until after she left. My daughter, Lily, was born on a cold November night. I labored alone. Aunt Linda stayed with me, but she wasn't Ethan, wasn't my partner, wasn't the person who was supposed to be there. But when they placed Lily in my arms, when I looked at her tiny face and her perfect fingers and her eyes that somehow already seemed to see everything, I fell in love. Completely. Irrevocably. In a way I'd never loved anyone before. Hi, baby girl, I whispered. I'm your mama, and I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to work so hard to give you a good life. I promise. She yawned, stretched, fell asleep against my chest. And I cried. Not from sadness. From love. From determination. From the bone-deep certainty that I would do whatever it took to make sure this baby had everything she needed. Even if her father didn't want her. Even if I had to do it alone. Even if it meant working myself to exhaustion and sacrificing every dream I'd ever had. I would do it. For her. Because she was mine. And she was worth everything. The first 3 years of Lily's life were the hardest years of mine. I worked multiple jobs, the alteration shop during the day, waitressing at night after Aunt Linda agreed to watch Lily, occasional freelance design work when I could find it. I slept maybe 4 hours a night, ate whatever I could afford, which wasn't much, Wore clothes until they literally fell apart because I couldn't afford to replace them. Every penny went to Lily. To diapers and formula and doctor's visits and clothes she'd outgrow in 3 months. To childcare on the days Aunt Linda couldn't watch her. To making sure she had what she needed even when I had nothing. I applied for government assistance. Food stamps. WIC. Medicaid. Programs I'd never imagined needing. Programs that made me feel ashamed even though I knew I shouldn't be. There was no shame in needing help. No shame in doing whatever it took to feed your child. But people made sure I felt shame anyway. The looks at the grocery store when I used my EBT card. The comments from other mothers at the park about those people who have kids they can't afford. The judgment from relatives who thought I'd made bad choices and was now paying the price. You should have tried harder to make it work with your husband, my aunt's friend said once. Marriage is hard. You can't just give up when things get difficult. I didn't give up, I said quietly. He left me. While I was pregnant, I didn't have a choice. Well, there must have been a reason. Men don't just leave for no reason. I stopped trying to explain after that. Stopped defending myself. Stopped caring what people thought. Because their opinions didn't feed my daughter. Didn't keep her warm. Didn't matter. But one person's opinion did matter. Mine. And I was watching myself fail. Watching my dreams die. Watching the creative, ambitious woman I used to be disappear under the weight of survival. I hadn't designed anything original in 2 years. Hadn't sketched. Hadn't created. Just worked and slept and took care of Lily and tried to keep my head above water. Is this all my life is going to be? I asked Aunt Linda one night. Lily was finally asleep. I was exhausted. I'd just gotten home from my waitressing shift at 1 a.m. Am I going to be working 3 jobs and barely surviving for the rest of my life? Not if you don't want to be, Aunt Linda said. But wishing things were different won't change them. You have to do something different if you want different results. Like what? I'm barely keeping up with what I'm doing now. How am I supposed to do more? I didn't say do more. I said do something different. You're a talented designer, Amelia. You have skills, but you're not using them. You're just surviving when you should be building. I can't build anything. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have. You have Lily. And you have yourself. That's more than a lot of people start with. Stop making excuses and start making choices. Her words stung because they were true. I was making excuses. Telling myself I couldn't instead of figuring out how I could. Accepting survival instead of fighting for something better. That night, after Aunt Linda went to bed, I pulled out my sketchbook. I hadn't opened it in months. The pages were filled with designs from before, from when I still believed I could be a real designer someday. I started drawing. For the first time in years, I designed something. Not for anyone else. Not for money. Just because I needed to create. Needed to remember who I was before survival became my only identity. I designed clothes for women like me. Women who were tired and broke and working too hard. Women who deserved to feel beautiful even when they couldn't afford expensive clothes. Women who needed fashion that was practical and affordable, but still made them feel special. I filled page after page with designs. Dresses that could go from work to dinner. Tops that hid post-pregnancy bodies while still being flattering. Outfits that looked expensive, but could be made cheaply. Clothes for real women living real lives. By the time the sun came up, I designed an entire collection. And for the first time since Ethan left, I felt like myself again. Not just Lily's mom. Not just a struggling single mother. But Amelia. Designer. Creator. Someone with a vision. I had no idea how to turn those sketches into reality. No money to buy fabric. No connections in the fashion industry. No business experience. But I had something I didn't have before. Hope. A plan. A dream that felt possible instead of impossible. And sometimes, that's enough to start. I started small. So small that calling it a business felt generous. I bought fabric from discount stores and thrift shops. I sewed at night after Lily went to bed, using Aunt Linda's ancient sewing machine. I made one dress based on my designs. Then another. Then another. I sold them online. Posted photos on Instagram and Facebook. Priced them cheaply, $30 for a dress that took me hours to make. But I wasn't doing it for profit. I was doing it to see if anyone wanted what I was creating.
People did.
The first dress sold in 2 days. Then the second. Then I had orders for 5 more. Then 10. Then 20. These dresses are perfect, one customer wrote. I'm a single mom on a budget, and this is the first time I felt beautiful in years. Thank you. That review made me cry. Because I understood exactly what she meant. I was designing for women like us. Women who deserved to feel special even when life was hard. Women who needed affordable beauty. I called my little business Brooks and Daughters. Brooks for my maiden name, Daughters because everything I was building was for Lily. To give her a better life. To show her that even when things are hard, you don't give up. You build something. The orders kept coming. I quit my waitressing job so I could sew more. Started hiring other single mothers to help with production, paying them more than minimum wage because I knew what it felt like to work for nothing. Started reinvesting every penny back into the business. A local boutique asked if they could carry my designs. Then another. Then a regional chain. Then I got an email from a buyer at a department store who'd heard about my work and wanted to see more. Your designs of heart, she said during our meeting. They're beautiful but accessible. Elegant but affordable. That's rare. Most designers focus on one or the other. You figured out how to do both. I design for women who need both, I said. Women who want to feel beautiful but can't spend $200 on a dress. Women who are working hard and deserve to feel special anyway. Women like you, she said gently.
Yes.
Women like me. She placed an order for 500 dresses. 500. I almost cried right there in her office. That was more money than I'd made in the past year combined. That was the breakthrough I needed. The moment when Brooks and Daughters went from hobby to real business. I hired more seamstresses. Rented a small production facility. Started designing more collections. Started thinking bigger than just dresses, pants, tops, accessories, a full line of affordable fashion for real women. Lily was 3 years old by then. She'd sit on the floor of my workroom, playing with fabric scraps, watching me work. Mama's building something, I'd tell her. Mama's making dresses for people who need them. Like me, she'd ask. Exactly like you. Except you're already beautiful without any dress. She'd giggle and go back to playing. And I'd go back to working. Building. Creating. Transforming my pain into purpose and my struggle into success. Family, we need to pause here because something important is happening. Amelia isn't just surviving anymore. She's building. She's creating. She's transforming from the woman Ethan abandoned into someone he wouldn't even recognize. And this is where the story shifts. Where survival becomes success. Where pain becomes power. But before we continue, I need to make sure you're still with me. Because what happened next is going to be explosive. It's going to show you what happens when Amelia and Ethan finally come face to face after 7 years.
When he sees what she became.
When he realizes that the woman he thought would collapse without him actually soared. When he understands that abandoning her was the worst mistake of his life. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that being abandoned doesn't mean you're worthless. It just means you're free to become who. Just means you're free to become who you were always meant to be. And drop a comment telling me, what do you think Ethan's going to feel when he sees Amelia again? Regret? Shame? Jealousy? All of it? Because what happened next is going to show you exactly what happens when the person who underestimated you realizes they were wrong. When the person who left you sees you thriving. When the person who thought you needed them discovers you were always enough all by yourself. 5 years after that first department store order, I'm standing in the lobby of the grand ballroom, and I can hear the buzz of conversation inside. 500 people, influencers, business leaders, philanthropists, media, all gathered for the annual Children's Charity Gala. All about to watch me receive an award for the foundation I started 3 years ago, the Daughters Rising Initiative, which provides scholarships, childcare support, and business mentorship to single mothers trying to build better lives. It's an award I earned, not through connections or privilege or luck, through 7 years of grinding, 7 years of choosing to build instead of break, 7 years of transforming abandonment into ambition and pain into purpose. My daughter Lily is with me. She's 7 years old now, wearing a dress I designed specifically for her. Midnight blue with silver embroidery, age-appropriate but elegant, making her look like the little princess she is. Her hair is in careful braids, her face is bright with excitement, and she's holding my hand like she always does when she's nervous or proud or just needs to feel connected. "Mama, are there really going to be famous people in there?" she asks, her voice hushed with anticipation.
Some, yes.
"But none of them are as important as you." "I'm not important. I'm just a kid." "You're the most important person in my world," I tell her, kneeling down so we're eye level. "Everything I built, every dress I designed, every success I achieved, it was all for you. So you could have a better life than I had. So you'd never have to struggle the way I struggled. You're not just important, baby. You're everything." She hugs me, careful not to wrinkle either of our dresses, and whispers, "I love you, Mama. I love you more." Rebecca, my assistant, appears with a tablet and a concerned expression. "Ms. Brooks, I need to tell you something before we go in." "What is it?" "Ethan Cole is here. He's working for Morrison and Associates, one of the event sponsors. He's managing their corporate hospitality booth. I just saw him setting up near the back of the ballroom." The name hits me like cold water.
Ethan.
Here. Tonight. After 7 years of silence. 7 years of nothing. 7 years of him being completely absent from his daughter's life, while I built everything alone. Does he know I'm being honored tonight? I ask, keeping my voice steady, even though my heart is racing. "I don't think so. The program lists you as Amelia Brooks, CEO of Brooks and Daughters. He probably doesn't know Brooks and Daughters is your company. Probably doesn't even know you changed back to your maiden name after the divorce. So he has no idea. No idea that the woman being honored tonight is his ex-wife. The woman he abandoned while pregnant. The woman he told wasn't ambitious enough. The woman he claimed was holding him back. He's about to get the shock of his life. Are you okay?" Rebecca asks. "We can have security escort him out if you want. You shouldn't have to deal with him tonight. This is your night." I think about it. Part of me wants exactly that. Wants him removed so I don't have to see his face or remember the worst day of my life or feel anything about the man who destroyed me. But another part of me, the part that spent 7 years building something extraordinary, wants him to see. Wants him to watch me accept this award. Wants him to realize exactly what he threw away. "No," I say. "Let him stay. Let him see everything." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. Because here's what I've learned over the past 7 years. The best revenge isn't hurting the person who hurt you. It's becoming so successful, so happy, so completely fulfilled that their opinion becomes irrelevant. It's living so well that running into them doesn't break you. It just reminds them of everything they lost." Ethan walked away thinking I'd collapse without him. Thinking I needed him to survive. Thinking I was too simple, too unambitious, too ordinary to ever amount to anything. He was wrong. And tonight, he's going to see exactly how wrong he was. "Let's go," I tell Rebecca. "I have an award to accept. The ballroom is stunning. Crystal chandeliers. Gold accents. Tables decorated with elaborate centerpieces. A stage with a massive screen displaying the Children's Charity Foundation logo. Everything is perfect. Professional. Expensive in the way that charity events for rich people always are, spending thousands to raise millions, everyone dressed like they're walking a red carpet. I fit right in. That's what success does. It gives you access to spaces you never imagined belonging to. Spaces where people treat you with respect not because of who you know, but because of what you've built. We're escorted to a table near the front. My seat has a small placard. Amelia Brooks, CEO, Brooks and Daughters Fashion. Next to me are other honorees, a tech entrepreneur who started a scholarship fund, a doctor who built free clinics in underserved areas, a teacher whose innovative program was changing lives. We're all here because we saw problems and decided to build solutions. Lily sits next to me, her eyes wide as she takes in the grandeur. Mama, this is like a fairy tale. It's real, baby, and you get to be part of it. As people file in and find their seats, I scan the room. I don't see Ethan yet. He's probably in the back somewhere, managing his company's booth, making sure their branding is visible, doing the kind of work he probably thinks is beneath him. The kind of work I used to do before I decided to bet on myself. A woman approaches our table, Linda Martinez, director of the Children's Charity Foundation. She's the one who nominated me for tonight's award. Amelia, you look absolutely stunning. And this must be Lily. She extends her hand to my daughter. It's so nice to finally meet you. Your mother talks about you constantly. Nice to meet you too, Lily says politely, shaking her hand the way I taught her. Your mother is very special, Linda tells her. She's helped over 300 single mothers start their own businesses through the Daughters Rising initiative. She's changed hundreds of lives. I know, Lily says, looking at me with pride. My mama is a superhero. My heart melts. I'm just a woman who didn't give up, sweetie. That's exactly what makes you a superhero, Linda says. Can I borrow your mom for a few minutes, Lily? I want to introduce her to some of the other donors. Okay. I follow Linda through the room, shaking hands with wealthy philanthropists and business leaders who've heard of Brooks and Daughters, who've read articles about my rise from struggling single mother to successful CEO, who want to talk about my designs, my business model, my foundation.
This is my life now.
Not struggling to pay rent. Not working 3 jobs just to survive. But networking with influential people. Being treated as an equal. Having my accomplishments recognized and celebrated. And through it all, I'm hyper-aware that Ethan is somewhere in this room. Watching maybe. Or not watching. Maybe he hasn't noticed me yet. Maybe he's too focused on his own responsibilities to pay attention to the honorees. But he'll notice soon. When I walk onto that stage. When they project my face on that massive screen. When they tell my story, single mother, abandoned while pregnant, built a fashion empire while raising her daughter alone. When they say my name and show pictures of me and Lily and explain what the Daughters Rising initiative does.
He'll notice then.
And I can't wait. Dinner is served. I barely eat. Too nervous. Too aware of what's coming. Too focused on maintaining my composure, even though my insides are churning with anticipation and something that feels almost like excitement. Lily eats enough for both of us. This food is so fancy, Mama. Do rich people eat like this every day? Some of them, probably. But fancy food doesn't make you happy, baby. Good people make you happy. Purpose makes you happy. Building something you're proud of makes you happy. Are you happy? I'm very happy. And I mean it. Despite everything, despite the struggle and the pain and the years of barely surviving, I'm happy now. I built this life. I created this success. I raised this incredible daughter. I turned abandonment into opportunity and proved that being left doesn't mean you're worthless. The awards program begins. Linda takes the stage and gives an opening speech about the foundation's work. Then they start recognizing the honorees one by one. The tech entrepreneur, the doctor, the teacher. Each one walks onto the stage, accepts their award, gives a brief speech, receives applause. Then Linda says, our final honoree tonight is someone whose story embodies the resilience and determination we celebrate at this foundation. 7 years ago, Amelia Brooks was a struggling single mother living in her aunt's house, working multiple jobs just to provide for her infant daughter. Today, she's the CEO of Brooks and Daughters Fashion, a company valued at over $200 million. Her designs are worn by celebrities and featured in major publications. But more importantly, through her daughter's Rising initiative, she's helped hundreds of single mothers build their own businesses and create better futures for their families. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amelia Brooks. The screen behind Linda fills with photos. Me and Lily. My designs. The women who've been helped by my foundation. The progression from struggling single mother to successful CEO. My story, told in images that don't hide the struggle, but also don't hide the triumph. The applause is immediate and sustained. I stand, smooth my dress, take Lily's hand. Come with me, baby. This is our moment. We walk onto that stage together. Mother and daughter. The reason I survived, and the result of that survival. Lily waves at the crowd, unself-conscious and sweet, and people laugh affectionately. I accept the Crystal Award from Linda, and when I reach the microphone, I take a deep breath and look out at the audience. That's when I see him, Ethan, standing near the back of the room by the Morrison and Associates booth. Frozen, staring at me like he's seeing a ghost. His face has gone completely white. His mouth is slightly open. He looks like someone just hit him with a sledgehammer. Our eyes meet across the room. For just a moment. Just long enough for me to see the recognition. The shock. The complete and utter disbelief. Then I look away. Because he doesn't get to take this moment from me.
This isn't about him. This was never about him.
This is about me and Lily, and the life we built together. I adjust the microphone. The room goes silent, waiting. Thank you, I begin. This award means more to me than I can express. 7 years ago, I was exactly where many of the women we helped through the Daughters Rising initiative are now. I was alone. I was scared. I was pregnant and abandoned by my husband, who told me I wasn't ambitious enough, that I was holding him back, that a baby was a mistake he didn't want to be responsible for. I can feel the room shift. People weren't expecting this level of honesty, this level of vulnerability. But I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not ashamed of my story. I'm proud of it. Proud of how I survived it. Proud of what I built from it. I won't lie to you. Those first few years were the hardest of my life. I worked 3 jobs. I lived on government assistance. I wore the same clothes until they fell apart because every penny I had went to my daughter. There were nights when I cried because I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. Days when I felt like giving up would be easier than keeping going. Lily squeezes my hand. I squeeze back. But I didn't give up. Because I had this little girl depending on me. And I refused to let her grow up thinking that struggle is all there is. I refuse to let the man who abandoned us define our future. I refuse to believe that being left means you're disposable. More applause. Some people are crying. I can see women nodding, recognizing their own stories in mine. I started Brooks and Daughters Fashion in my aunt's living room with $30 and a dream. I designed clothes for women like me, women who couldn't afford expensive fashion but deserved to feel beautiful anyway. Women who were working hard and needed something that made them feel special. Real women living real lives. The screen behind me shows my first designs. The simple dresses I made on that ancient sewing machine. The progression to where I am now. Clothes in major department stores, celebrity endorsements, Fashion Week appearances. The business grew because I designed from a place of understanding. I knew what it felt like to need affordable beauty. To want to feel special even when life was hard. To deserve recognition even when society was telling me I was just another struggling single mother who'd made bad choices. I pause. Look directly at where Ethan is standing, even though I know he can't really see me looking at him specifically from this distance, in this lighting. To the man who told me I wasn't ambitious enough, thank you. Thank you for leaving. Because your abandonment forced me to find strength I didn't know I had. It forced me to bet on myself instead of waiting for someone else to validate my worth. It forced me to build something extraordinary instead of settling for ordinary. You thought you were leaving someone who needed you. Actually, you freed someone who was always capable of more than you could imagine. The applause is deafening now. People are standing, cheering. Some are crying openly. Because this isn't just my story, it's the story of every person who's been underestimated, every person who's been left, every person who was told they weren't enough and decided to prove everyone wrong. The Daughters Rising Initiative exists because I know what it's like to feel hopeless, to feel like survival is your only option, to feel like you're failing because you're just barely keeping your head above water. But I also know what it's like to find your strength, to build something from nothing, to become someone you're proud of. And I want every single mother out there to know, you are not defined by who left you. You are defined by what you build after they're gone. I hold up the Crystal Award. This isn't just mine. This belongs to every woman who's struggling right now. Every woman who's working multiple jobs and barely making it. Every woman who's been told she's not enough. You are enough. You're more than enough. And the person who couldn't see that? That's their loss, not yours. The standing ovation lasts 3 full minutes. People are rushing the stage to hug me, congratulate me, tell me their own stories of survival and transformation. Lily is beaming, so proud of her mama. Linda is crying. Even some of the wealthy donors, people who've probably never struggled a day in their lives, are moved by the raw honesty of what I shared. And through it all, I can see Ethan, still frozen in place, still staring, looking like his entire world just shifted on its axis.
Good.
Let him stare. Let him realize. Let him understand exactly what he threw away. After the speeches, there's a cocktail hour and networking.
People want to talk to me.
Want to hear more of my story. Want to invest in Brooks and Daughters or donate to the Daughters Rising Initiative or just tell me how inspired they are. A reporter from Forbes approaches. Ms. Brooks, I'm writing a profile on women entrepreneurs who've overcome adversity. Would you be willing to do an interview? Of course. I'm particularly interested in your ex-husband's perspective. The man you mentioned in your speech. Have you had any contact with him since the divorce?
No.
He chose not to be part of our lives. I respect that choice, even though it was painful. And if he reached out now, after seeing your success, I'd wonder what took him so long. She laughs. Fair enough. Can I quote you on that? Please do. More reporters. More questions. More interest in the woman who went from abandoned and pregnant to CEO. My story is catnip for media. It has everything. Betrayal, struggle, triumph, a cute kid, a successful business, and the implicit question everyone wants answered. Does the ex-husband regret leaving now? I'm sure he does. I'm sure watching me accept that award while standing next to the daughter he never wanted broke something inside him. But that's not my problem anymore. That's not my responsibility. I didn't build this success to hurt him. I built it to save myself and my daughter. If he's hurt by it, that's just consequences catching up. Mama, I'm tired, Lily says, tugging on my dress. Can we go home? Soon, baby. Just a little bit longer. Ms. Brooks. A man's voice behind me. Unfamiliar. I turn and see one of the event organizers. There's someone who'd like to speak with you. Says it's personal. Should I tell him you're not available? My stomach drops. I know who it is before the organizer says his name. It's an Ethan Cole. He seems quite insistent. 7 years. 7 years of nothing. No calls.
No texts.
No child support. No acknowledgement that he had a daughter. No interest in whether we survived or struggled or succeeded. And now that I'm successful and celebrated and powerful, now he wants to speak to me.
Part of me wants to say no.
Wants to tell the organizer to have security escort him out. Wants to deny him the same way he denied me for 7 years. But another part of me wants to hear what he has to say. Wants to see his face up close. Wants to look him in the eye and see if he understands, really understands what he did and what he lost. Tell him I'll meet him in 5 minutes. The terrace outside the ballroom. Tell him to wait there. Are you sure? I'm sure. I turn to Rebecca. Can you take Lily to the car? I need to handle something. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. I just need to close a door that's been open too long. Rebecca takes Lily's hand. Come on, sweetie. Let's go check out the fancy car your mama rented for night. Okay. Lily skips along happily, completely unaware that her father is in this building. Completely unaware that the man who abandoned her exists just a few 100 feet away. I watch them leave.
Take a deep breath.
Smooth my dress. Check my reflection in a nearby mirror. I look powerful. Successful. Completely different from the broken girl Ethan left 7 years ago.
Good.
Let him see what he lost. Let him see what he missed. Let him see that I didn't just survive, I thrived. I walk toward the terrace. Toward the confrontation I've been avoiding for 7 years. Toward the closure I didn't know I needed until this moment. The terrace is empty. Everyone else is still inside networking and celebrating. String lights create a soft glow, and the city stretches out below us, glittering and alive. Ethan is standing by the railing, his back to me. He's wearing a suit that looks good but not expensive. His hair is shorter than I remember. His shoulders are slumped in a way that suggests defeat rather than the confidence he used to carry. Ethan, I say. He turns, and I see it all in his face. The shock, the regret,
The shame.
the complete and utter devastation of realizing exactly what he threw away. Amelia, he says. His voice cracks. I can't believe it's you. Did you think I disappeared? Died? Just stopped existing after you left? No, I never imagined. I didn't know you'd become. He gestures helplessly back toward the ballroom. Any of this. Successful? Celebrated? Everything you said I'd never be. He flinches. I never said that. You said I wasn't ambitious enough. That I was holding you back. That I'd never amount to anything because I was content with small dreams. That sounds like you thought I'd never be successful. I was wrong. God, Amelia, I was so wrong about everything.
Yes.
You were. Silence. Heavy. Awkward. 7 years of absence, sitting between us like a wall. She's beautiful, Ethan says finally. Our daughter, Lily. She's beautiful. Yes, she is. She looks like you. She acts like me too. Strong. Determined. Doesn't give up when things get hard. Because you taught her that. Because I had to teach her that. Because her father wasn't there to teach her anything. Another flinch.
Good.
Let him feel it. Let him understand what he missed. I'm sorry, he says. I know that's inadequate. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I'm sorry, Amelia. For leaving. For abandoning you while you were pregnant. For not being there for Lily. For all of it. Why are you sorry? Because you left? Or because I succeeded anyway? Both. Neither. I don't know. He runs his hands through his hair. I've thought about you so much over the years. Wondered how you were doing. Wondered if you were okay. Wondered if I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. And what conclusion did you reach? That I did. That leaving you was the worst decision I ever made. That I destroyed something precious because I was too stupid and selfish to see what I had. And you're just realizing this now? After 7 years? After seeing me on that stage?
No.
I realized it a long time ago. But I was too ashamed to reach out. Too convinced you hated me. Too afraid you'd tell me exactly what I deserved to hear. Which is, that I'm a coward. That I abandoned my family. That I have no right to be in your life or Lily's life. That I destroyed the best thing I ever had because I was chasing success and ended up with nothing. You're right about all of that. I know. More silence. I should feel satisfaction. should feel vindicated, should feel like I'm winning this confrontation. But mostly I just feel tired. Tired of carrying this weight. Tired of the anger I've been holding for 7 years. Tired of letting him occupy any space in my head. What happened to you? I ask. You were working at that prestigious venture capital firm. You were building your empire. What happened? He laughs bitterly. I was laid off 3 years ago. Budget cuts. The woman I was dating, the one I left you for, she dumped me the day I lost my job. Turns out she was more interested in my career trajectory than in me. I've been struggling to find work ever since. Right now I'm managing corporate hospitality for Morrison and Associates. It's a good job, but it's not what I thought my life would be. So he's experienced his own version of struggle, his own version of humiliation, his own version of realizing that the life he thought he was building was built on sand.
I should feel happy about that.
Should feel like karma worked perfectly. But I don't. I just feel nothing. His struggles don't erase mine. His regret doesn't undo the past. His suffering doesn't heal my wounds. I'm sorry things didn't work out the way you planned, I say. And I mean it. Not because I care about his happiness, but because I'm not cruel. I'm not interested in celebrating his pain the way he celebrated abandoning mine. Don't do that, he says. Don't be kind to me. I don't deserve your kindness. I'm not being kind for you. I'm being kind because that's who I am. That's who I had to become to survive what you did to me. I had to choose to not be bitter. To not let your abandonment make me cruel. To not let what you did define who I became. You're incredible, he says. Everything about you. Your business. Your foundation. Your daughter. The way you've built this life. You're incredible, and I'm an idiot for not seeing it 7 years ago.
Yes.
You are. Can I? He hesitates. Can I meet her? Lily? Can I be part of her life? I know I have no right to ask. I know I gave up that right when I left. But I want to know my daughter. I want to try to make up for everything I missed. And there it is. The question I knew was coming. The request that makes my stomach turn and my protective instincts flare. No, I say simply. Please, Amelia. I know I don't deserve. You're right. You don't deserve anything. And more importantly, Lily doesn't deserve the confusion and pain of having you suddenly appear in her life. She's 7 years old. She's happy. She's well-adjusted. She has a good life. And I'm not going to disrupt that because you suddenly decided you want to be a father. I have rights. You have nothing, I say firmly. You never established paternity. You never paid child support. You never made any attempt to be in her life. You have no legal rights because you deliberately chose not to claim any. And I'm not giving you access to my daughter because you're feeling regretful now that your life didn't turn out the way you planned. That's not why. That's exactly why. If I was still struggling, if I was still working 3 jobs and barely surviving, you wouldn't be standing here asking to be in her life. You're here because I succeeded. Because I became someone impressive. Because now it's convenient and maybe even beneficial for you to be associated with me. But I'm not convenient, Ethan. And neither is my daughter. I love her. I know I don't know her. But she's my daughter, and I. You don't love her. You love the idea of her now that she comes with success and redemption attached. You love the story you could tell about being her father. But you don't love her. Because love requires sacrifice. It requires showing up when things are hard. It requires choosing someone even when it's inconvenient. And you've never done any of that. His face crumples. So that's it? I never get to know her? Never get to be her father? You're not her father. You're the man who contributed DNA. Being a father requires actually being present. You had 7 years to make that choice. You chose not to. Now you have to live with that choice. This isn't fair. You're right. It's not fair. It wasn't fair when you left me pregnant and alone. It wasn't fair when I had to work 3 jobs just to feed our daughter. It wasn't fair when I gave birth with no partner by my side. It wasn't fair when I spent years struggling while you were out building your career. None of it was fair. But life isn't fair, Ethan. And sometimes the consequences of our choices are permanent.
He's crying now.
Actually crying. And part of me, the part that remembers loving him once, feels something like sympathy. But the bigger part of me, the part that remembers being abandoned while pregnant, feels nothing. I'm sorry, he says again. I'm so sorry for everything. I know. And I forgive you. Not for you.
For me.
Because carrying anger around for 7 years was exhausting. Because I needed to let go to move forward. Because Lily deserves a mother who's not bitter about the past. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. It doesn't mean you get access to the life I built without you. It just means I'm done letting what you did define me. So what happens now?
Now?
Now you go live your life. And I go live mine. And maybe someday, when Lily's older, I'll tell her about you. I'll let her decide if she wants to reach out. But that's her choice, not yours. And it's years away, not now. That's all I get? Just hope that maybe someday. That's more than you gave me. When you left, you didn't leave me with hope. You left me with nothing. So yes, that's all you get.
Hope.
Maybe. Someday. And you should be grateful for even that much. I turn to leave. Amelia, wait. I stop but don't turn around. I loved you, he says. I know I didn't show it. I know I failed you in every possible way. But I did love you. I probably still do. I don't care, I say. And I mean it. I don't care if you loved me. I don't care if you love me now. Love without action is meaningless. Love that abandons isn't love at all. It's selfishness, wearing love's mask.
So no, Ethan.
I don't care about your feelings. I care about my daughter. I care about protecting her from people who might hurt her. And right now, you're someone who might hurt her. I would never. You already did. The day you left. The day you chose yourself over your family. The day you walked away from your responsibilities. You already hurt her by not being there. I'm just making sure you don't get the opportunity to hurt her again. I walk away. Back toward the ballroom. Back toward my life. Back toward everything I built without him. Behind me, I can hear him crying. Can hear him say my name one more time. But I don't turn around. Don't respond. Don't give him any more of my time or energy or attention. Because I'm done with Ethan Cole. Done with the past. Done with giving any space to the man who abandoned me. I'm Amelia Brooks now.
I saw.
Mother. Survivor. Success story. And I'm too busy building my future to waste time on someone who wasn't part of my past when I needed him. We need to stop here again because this moment, this confrontation, is everything this story has been building toward. The man who left Amelia thinking she'd fail just watched her triumph. The man who said she wasn't ambitious enough just saw her receive an award for changing hundreds of lives. The man who abandoned his daughter is being told he has no right to know her. And here's what makes this so powerful. Amelia isn't being cruel. She's being protective. She's not punishing Ethan out of spite. She's protecting Lily from potential hurt. She's not celebrating his suffering. She's just refusing to let his regret become her problem. This is what real strength looks like. Not revenge. Not bitterness. Just boundaries. Just understanding that forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone back into your life. Just knowing that you don't owe anyone access to the success you built without them. If this resonates with you, if you've ever had to set boundaries with someone who hurt you, if you've ever had to choose protecting yourself over making someone else feel better about their mistakes, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Because these stories matter. These lessons matter. And the more we share them, the more we empower each other to choose ourselves.
Hit like.
Share this video. And drop a comment telling me, did Amelia make the right choice? Should she have given Ethan a chance to know Lily? Or is she right to protect her daughter from someone who might hurt her? I want to know what you think. Now, let's continue. Because this story isn't over yet.
There's more to see.
More to understand. More about what happens when you choose yourself over someone who didn't choose you. The next morning, I wake up to my phone buzzing constantly. Texts, emails, notifications. My speech from last night has gone viral. The video has millions of views. My story is trending on Twitter. Every major news outlet wants an interview. Single mother builds fashion empire after being abandoned while pregnant. CEO confronts ex-husband who left her. Thank you for leaving. Amelia Brooks' powerful speech about overcoming abandonment goes viral. The response is overwhelming. Thousands of women sharing their own stories of abandonment and survival. Thousands of messages thanking me for being honest. For not hiding the struggle. For showing that success after trauma is possible. But there are also messages from people defending Ethan. People saying I was too harsh. That everyone deserves a second chance. That keeping Lily from her father is cruel. That I'm being vindictive and using my daughter as a weapon. I read one comment that says, she's only refusing to let him see his daughter because she wants to punish him. That's not about protecting Lily. That's about revenge. It stings. Not because it's true, but because I know some people will believe it. Will think I'm the villain in this story. Will think I'm being cruel instead of careful. Rebecca finds me reading comments in my office. You need to stop looking at those. Social media is toxic. You know your truth. That's what matters. But what if they're right? What if I am being too harsh? What if Lily does deserve to know her father? Lily deserves to know a father who wants to be there. Not a father who only showed up after you became successful. You're protecting her. That's not revenge. That's parenting. But what if she grows up and resents me for keeping him away? Then you'll explain your reasons. You'll tell her the truth. And you'll let her make her own decisions when she's old enough to understand them. But right now she's 7 years old and doesn't need the confusion of a father who abandoned her suddenly appearing because it's convenient. Rebecca's right. I know she's right. But doubt is insidious. It creeps in through the cracks, makes you second-guess decisions you know are correct, makes you wonder if maybe you're the one who's wrong. My phone rings. Private number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Ms. Brooks? This is Patricia Ramsey from CBS This Morning. We'd love to have you on the show tomorrow to discuss your story. We think our audience would really connect with your message about resilience and single motherhood. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not sure I want to do more media right now. My story is already everywhere. I understand, but I think you have an opportunity here to control your narrative, to make sure people understand your motivations, to speak directly to other single mothers who are struggling. This is your chance to make sure your truth is heard correctly. She's right. If I stay silent, other people will define my story. Will make assumptions about my motivations. Will turn my protective boundaries into vindictiveness. Will transform my strength into cruelty. Okay, I say. I'll do the interview. But I want to be clear. I'm not doing this to hurt Ethan or to gain sympathy. I'm doing this to tell the truth about what single mothers face. About what it takes to survive and thrive after abandonment. That's exactly what we want to talk about. Can you come in tomorrow morning?
7 Uhr morgens.
I'll be there. After I hang up, I call Aunt Linda. She answers on the first ring. I saw your speech, honey. You were magnificent. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. But now everything's blown up. My story is everywhere. People are taking sides. Some are calling me inspirational. Others are calling me vindictive. Let them talk. You know what you did was right. You know why you made the choices you made. Don't let strangers on the internet make you doubt yourself. But what if Lily sees all this someday? What if she reads these articles and thinks I was wrong to keep her father away? Then you'll show her the bank statements that prove he never sent a penny of child support. You'll show her the legal documents where he contested paternity. You'll show her the 7 years of silence where he made zero attempt to contact her. You'll show her the facts, and she'll understand. I hope you're right. I am right. And Amelia? You did the hardest thing in the world. You put your child's well-being above your own need to be liked. That's not vindictive. That's love. The next morning, I'm sitting in a studio chair across from Patricia Ramsey. The lights are bright. Cameras are rolling. Millions of people will watch this. And I need to get it right. Need to make people understand. Amelia Brooks, thank you for joining us. Patricia begins. Your speech at the charity gala has resonated with millions of people. But it's also sparked controversy. Some people think you were too harsh with your ex-husband, that you should give him a chance to know his daughter.
What do you say to that?
I take a breath. I say that people who think that don't understand what abandonment does to a child. Ethan didn't just leave me. He left his daughter. Before she was even born, he decided she was a mistake he didn't want to be responsible for. For 7 years, he made zero attempt to contact her. Zero attempt to provide financial support. Zero attempt to be part of her life. He claims he was ashamed, that he wanted to reach out but didn't know how. Then he should have figured it out. I was ashamed too. Ashamed of being abandoned. Ashamed of needing government assistance. Ashamed of not being able to provide the life I wanted for my daughter. But I didn't let shame stop me from being present, from doing the work, from showing up every single day, even when it was hard. But don't children deserve to know their fathers? Children deserve to know fathers who want to know them. Not fathers who only appear when it's convenient. Not fathers who show up 7 years later because their ex-wife became successful. If Ethan had reached out when Lily was 1 year old, when I was still struggling, when there was no success or recognition or money, I might feel differently. But he didn't. He waited until I built something impressive. And that timing tells me everything I need to know about his motivations. Patricia leans forward. There are reports that Ethan has been struggling financially, that he lost his high-paying job and has been working in a much more modest position. Some people think that's why he wants to reconnect now, not because you're successful, but because he's humbled. He's hit rock bottom and realizes what he lost. Maybe that's true. Maybe hitting rock bottom taught him something. But that doesn't mean I'm obligated to let him into my daughter's life. Lily is 7 years old. She's happy. She's secure. She has a good life. I'm not going to disrupt that stability because her father suddenly had an epiphany about what he's been missing. Do you think he'll ever allow him to meet her? When Lily is older, maybe a teenager, I'll tell her about him. I'll explain what happened, why he wasn't there, why I made the choices I made. And I'll let her decide if she wants to reach out to him. But that's her choice. Not his. Not mine. Hers. Because she's the one who has to live with whatever relationship she chooses to have with him. That's years away.
Yes.
And every one of those years, Lily will be growing up secure and loved and protected. That's more important than giving Ethan what he wants right now. Patricia shifts topics. Let's talk about your foundation. The Daughters Rising Initiative has helped over 300 single mothers start their own businesses. What inspired that? I remember what it felt like to be hopeless. To feel like survival was the only option. To work 3 jobs and still barely make it. I remember thinking that this was all my life would ever be, just struggling, just surviving, just barely keeping my head above water. And I want single mothers to know that's not true. That survival can transform into success if you have the right support, the right resources, the right people believing in you. What do you say to women who are in that place right now, who are struggling and feel hopeless? I look directly at the camera, directly at the women I know are watching, women who see themselves in my story. I say you are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you can imagine. You are not defined by the person who left you. You're defined by what you build after they're gone. It won't be easy. There will be days when you want to give up. Days when you cry because you're so tired and so scared and so overwhelmed. But keep going. Take it one day at a time. 1 hour at a time if you have to. Build something small. Then build something bigger. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive, you thrived. That's beautiful and powerful. Is that message what you want people to take from your story?
Yes.
I don't want people to focus on Ethan or what he did or whether I was right or wrong to keep him away from Lily. I want people to focus on what's possible, on transformation, on the fact that abandonment doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning. After the interview airs, Ethan releases a statement through his lawyer. It's posted on his Facebook page and picked up by several media outlets. I want to address the recent media coverage regarding my ex-wife Amelia Brooks and our daughter. First, I want to make it clear that I deeply regret the choices I made 7 years ago. Leaving Amelia while she was pregnant was the worst mistake of my life. I was young, scared, and selfish. I let fear dictate my actions, and I hurt 2 people who deserved better. I am not trying to make excuses. There is no excuse for abandoning your family. There is no justification for walking away from your responsibilities. I failed as a husband and as a father, and I have to live with that. Amelia is right about many things. I did not reach out for 7 years. I did not provide financial support. I did not try to be part of Lily's life. Those are facts, and I own them. However, I want to be clear about my intentions now. I am not trying to reconnect because Amelia is successful. I am trying to reconnect because I finally understand what I lost. I want to know my daughter. I want to be part of her life in whatever capacity Amelia deems appropriate. I want to try to make amends for the years I missed. I respect Amelia's decision to protect Lily. I understand why she doesn't trust me. I understand why she's cautious. But I hope that someday she'll give me an opportunity to prove that I've changed. That I'm not the same scared, selfish man who walked away 7 years ago. To Amelia, I'm sorry. I will spend the rest of my life being sorry. You deserved a partner, and I failed you. You deserved support, and I abandoned you. You deserved love, and I chose myself instead. I can never undo that. But I can try to be better moving forward. To Lily, I don't know if you'll ever see this. I don't know if your mother will tell you about me. But I want you to know that I think about you every day. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I missed so much. And I hope that someday you'll give me a chance to be the father I should have been from the beginning. The statement is carefully worded. Apologetic without being pathetic. Acknowledging his faults without making excuses. Expressing hope without demanding anything. It's exactly what a good PR person would tell him to write. And maybe he means every word. Or maybe he's just trying to manage the fallout from being portrayed as the villain in a viral story. I don't know. And increasingly, I don't care. Public opinion starts to shift slightly. Some people who are critical of me are now saying things like, at least he's owning his mistakes and maybe he deserves a second chance. But the majority of responses are still supportive of my position. Still understanding that protecting your child isn't the same as being vindictive. Still recognizing that you don't owe someone access to your life just because they're sorry. One comment on the statement stands out. Notice he only apologized after her interview made him look bad. Notice he's only asking for a chance now that the whole world is watching. This isn't about being a father. This is about managing his image. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But it doesn't matter. Because I'm not making my decisions based on public opinion or Ethan's statement or anything other than what's best for Lily. And what's best for Lily is stability, security, protection from confusion and potential hurt. That's what I'm giving her. That's what I've always given her. 6 months after the gala, Brooks and Daughters has expanded into 12 new markets. The viral attention from my speech translated into millions in new sales. Celebrities are wearing my designs. Fashion magazines are featuring my collections. Investors are reaching out wanting to help me grow even bigger. But more importantly, the Daughters Rising initiative has tripled its reach. We're now helping over 900 single mothers, providing business loans, offering mentorship programs, creating childcare cooperatives so women can work without worrying about their kids. Building exactly the support system I wish I'd had 7 years ago. Lily is thriving. She's still completely unaware that her father tried to reconnect. Still completely secure in the life we've built together. She tells everyone at school that her mama is a fashion designer who helps other mamas. She's proud, happy,
Loved.
that's what matters. Not Ethan's regret. Not public opinion. Not whether I made the right choice according to strangers on the internet. Just that my daughter is happy and secure and knows she's loved. I'm dating now. A man named Thomas who owns a bookstore and has never heard of Brooks and Daughters when we met. Who asked me out because he thought I was interesting, not because I was successful. Who treats me with respect and kindness and doesn't try to fix me or save me or claim credit for my success. You're different from anyone I've ever met, he tells me one evening. We're at his apartment, cooking dinner together, being normal in a way I haven't been normal in years. Different how? You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're already complete. You're just looking for someone to share your completeness with. Is that okay? That I don't need you? It's more than okay. It's perfect. I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. There's a difference. I do want you. Good. Because I want you too. Not because you're a CEO or because you built something impressive or because your story is inspiring. Just because you're you. The woman who laughs at my terrible jokes and steals food off my plate and reads to Lily in different voices that make her giggle. It's the healthiest relationship I've ever had. Because I'm not bringing brokenness to it. Not bringing need or desperation or the hope that he'll fix what someone else broke.
I'm bringing wholeness. Strength.
The kind of love that enhances instead of completes. Sometimes I think about Ethan. Wonder what he's doing. Wonder if he's still working at Morrison and Associates. Wonder if he's still regretting leaving. But those thoughts are fleeting. Brief. They don't consume me anymore. He's just someone I used to know. Someone who was part of my story, but isn't part of my present. 3 years after the gala, 10 years after he left, I receive a letter from Ethan. It's addressed to me but also to Lily. Hand-delivered to my office with a note asking me to please read it before deciding whether to give it to my daughter. I consider throwing it away unopened. But curiosity wins. I open it. Dear Amelia and Lily, I'm writing this letter knowing you might never read it. Knowing Amelia might decide that hearing from me would do more harm than good. Knowing I have no right to ask for your time or attention after 10 years of absence. But I need to try. I need you both to know that not a day has passed that I haven't thought about you. Not a day has passed that I haven't regretted walking away. Amelia, I know you've built an incredible life. I know you didn't need me to succeed. I know you probably succeeded because I left, not in spite of it. But I need you to know that I'm proud of you. Not in a way that claims any credit, but in the way that someone who once loved you and failed you can still be genuinely happy that you're thriving. Lily, I don't know if you even know I exist. I don't know what your mother has told you about me. But I want you to know that walking away from you was not about you. It was about me. About my fear. About my selfishness. You were innocent in all of this. You deserved a father who was present and loving and supportive. I'm sorry I wasn't that person. I'm not writing to ask for anything. Not asking for a relationship or forgiveness or even acknowledgement. I'm writing because I want you to know that I understand what I did. I understand what I lost. And I understand that some consequences are permanent. But if someday, maybe when you're older, Lily, you want to know your father, I'll be here. I'll answer any questions you have. I'll explain my failures without making excuses. I'll give you whatever relationship you're comfortable with on your terms at your pace. And if that day never comes, I understand that too. I made choices that have consequences. Living with those consequences is my responsibility, not yours. I hope you're both happy. I hope you're both healthy. I hope you're both living the lives you deserve, lives filled with love and success, and all the things I failed to provide. With regret and respect. Ethan. I read the letter 3 times. It's different from his previous attempts at communication.
Less about him.
Less about what he wants. More accepting of reality. More understanding that some doors, once closed, stay closed. Maybe he's grown. Maybe 10 years gave him perspective I didn't think he was capable of. Maybe he really does understand now. Or maybe this is just another attempt to manage his guilt. Another way of making himself feel better about choices he can't change. I don't know. And increasingly, I realize I don't need to know. I put the letter in a box in my closet. The box where I keep important documents. Birth certificates. Lily's baby photos. The divorce papers. Everything that tells the story of who we are and how we got here. Someday, when Lily is older, maybe 16 or 17, I'll give her this letter. I'll give her all the information she needs to make her own choices about her father. I'll tell her the truth about what happened. About why he wasn't there. About his attempts to reconnect. And I'll let her decide. Because she's the one who has to live with whatever relationship she chooses to have with him. But that's years away. For now, she's 10 years old. She's in 5th grade. She's taking dance classes and piano lessons and learning to code because she wants to design websites for fashion companies. She's smart and happy and secure. She has a life that works. And I'm not disrupting that because her father finally learned how to write a decent apology letter. 10 years after Ethan left, I'm standing in my office, looking at the wall of photos. Me and Lily at various ages. The progression from struggling single mother to successful CEO. The visual timeline of our journey. There's one photo in particular I keep returning to. It's from that first year. I'm holding newborn Lily in the hospital. My face is exhausted. My hair is a mess. I'm wearing a hospital gown and no makeup. I look broken and terrified and completely overwhelmed. But I'm also smiling. Because even in that moment, even when I had nothing and no one and no idea how I was going to survive, I had her. And she was enough. She was everything. That woman in the photo had no idea what was coming. She didn't know she'd build a fashion empire. Didn't know she'd help hundreds of other single mothers. Didn't know she'd be featured in magazines and interviewed on national television. Didn't know that abandonment would become the catalyst for transformation instead of destruction. She just knew she had to survive. Had to take it one day at a time. Had to keep going even when giving up seemed easier. And she did.
We did.
Together.
Nana.
Lily appears in my office doorway. She's 10 now. All long legs and bright eyes and confidence that comes from being loved unconditionally. Are you okay? You look sad. I'm not sad, sweetheart. I'm just thinking. About what? About how far we've come. About how different our lives are now compared to when you were born. Were we poor? I've never hidden our story from her. Never pretended we didn't struggle. But I've also never burdened her with details she wasn't old enough to understand. We didn't have much money, yes. But we had each other. And we had love. And we had determination. And that was enough. And now we have money too. But the important things haven't changed. We still have each other. We still have love. We're still determined. Money just made some things easier. It didn't make us happier. We were already happy. Because we had each other. Exactly. She comes over and hugs me. I'm glad you're my mama. I'm glad you're my daughter. Best thing that ever happened to me. Even though it was hard, especially because it was hard. Easy things don't teach you how strong you are. Hard things do. And you taught me I was stronger than I ever knew. I didn't do anything. I was just a baby. You existed. You needed me. And that need made me find strength I didn't know I had. Made me fight harder than I thought I could fight. Made me become someone I'm proud to be. So yes, you did something. You saved me by letting me save you. She doesn't fully understand what I mean. She's too young. But someday she will. Someday I'll tell her the complete story. About her father. About the abandonment. About the choice I made to protect her. About everything. But not today. Today, she's just a 10-year-old girl who knows her mama loves her, who knows she's safe, who knows she matters. That's enough. 15 years after Ethan left, I'm 54 years old. Lily is 22, graduated from college with a degree in fashion design and business. She's working at Brooks & Daughters, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because she believes in what we're building. Because she wants to help women the way I helped women. Because she understands that success means nothing if you don't use it to lift others up. She knows about her father now. I told her when she turned 16, just like I promised myself I would. Showed her the letters. Explained what happened. Answered every question she had. And then I let her decide what she wanted to do with that information. She thought about it for a long time. Then she reached out to Ethan. They met for coffee. Had a careful, tentative conversation. He apologized. She listened. They agreed to take things slowly. To build a relationship at her pace, on her terms. She sees him maybe once every few months. They're not close. Not the way fathers and daughters should be close. But they're cordial, respectful. They're building something that works for both of them. Are you okay with me having a relationship with him? She asked me after their first meeting. Of course I am. He's your father. You have every right to know him if you want to. Even after everything he did? Even after. Because you're not responsible for what he did. You're only responsible for what you do. And if building a relationship with him is what you want, I support that completely. I don't think I'll ever be close to him. Not like I'm close to you. But I wanted to know him. To understand where I came from. That makes sense. He asks about you sometimes. Wants to know how you're doing. I think he's still in love with you. That's his problem, not mine. Do you ever think about him? Sometimes. Usually when I'm thinking about the journey we took. About how different things could have been. But I don't wish things were different. I like who we became. I like the life we built. Me too. Brooks & Daughters is now valued at over $1 billion. We have stores in 15 countries. The Daughters Rising initiative has helped over 5,000 single mothers start businesses. We've created a whole ecosystem of support for women who are building lives after adversity. And I'm still designing. Still creating clothes for real women. Still believing that fashion should be accessible and empowering and affirming. Still remembering what it felt like to need affordable beauty when you had nothing. Thomas and I got married 5 years ago.
Small ceremony.
Just close friends and family. Lily walked me down the aisle because she's been my partner in this journey from the beginning. It's a good marriage. Equal. Respectful. Built on choice rather than need. Sometimes I think about Ethan. About what he missed. About what his life could have been if he'd stayed. About whether he's happy now. From what Lily tells me, he's doing okay. He got a better job. He's in therapy.
He's trying to be a better person.
He never remarried. Never had other children. Just exists on the periphery of Lily's life, grateful for whatever relationship she's willing to give him. I don't hate him anymore. Don't feel anger or bitterness or even much of anything.
He's just someone I used to know.
Someone who is part of my story, but doesn't define it. Someone who taught me what I was capable of by forcing me to survive without him. The best revenge, I learned, isn't hurting the person who hurt you. It's becoming so happy, so successful, so completely fulfilled that their absence becomes irrelevant. It's building a life so beautiful that looking back isn't necessary, because looking forward is so much more interesting. Ethan left thinking I'd collapse. That I needed him. That I was too simple and unambitious to build anything worthwhile. He was wrong. Completely, utterly wrong. And the life I built, the empire I created, the daughter I raised, the women I helped, the legacy I'm leaving, that's proof he was wrong. Not proof I showed him out of spite.
Just proof that exists. Proof that stands on its own.
Proof that doesn't need his acknowledgement to be real.
I'm Amelia Brooks.
I built something from nothing. I survived abandonment and transformed it into opportunity. I turned pain into purpose. I proved that being left doesn't mean you're disposable. It just means you're free to become who you were always meant to be. And that all of that is enough. One final time, I need to talk to you directly. Because this story is ending, and I need you to understand what it means. What Amelia's journey represents. What you can take from her experience and apply to your own life. This story isn't just about a woman who was abandoned and became successful. It's about choosing yourself. It's about understanding that the person who left you did you a favor even if it didn't feel like it at the time. It's about transforming pain into power and survival into success. Amelia didn't succeed because she wanted to show Ethan what he missed. She succeeded because she had a daughter who needed her. Because she refused to accept that struggle was all her life would be. Because she chose to build instead of break. And yes, Ethan saw her success. Yes, he regretted leaving. Yes, he cried and apologized and tried to make amends. But none of that changed Amelia's life.
She was already happy.
Already successful. Already complete. His regret didn't heal her wounds. Time and choice and determination did that. His apology didn't validate her worth. She'd already validated herself. That's the lesson. That's what I want you to take from this story. You don't need the person who left you to come back and apologize for you to be okay. You don't need them to see your success for it to be real. You don't need their validation for your worth to exist. You are enough.
Right now.
As you are. With or without them. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been abandoned or underestimated or told you weren't enough, I need you to know. They were wrong. Everyone who didn't see your value was wrong. Everyone who walked away was making a mistake they'll probably regret. Everyone who underestimated you is about to watch you prove them wrong. If you'll see stories like this, hit that subscribe button one last time. Share this with every person who needs to hear that abandonment isn't the end, it's the beginning. And leave a comment telling me your story. Tell me how you survived, how you thrived, how you proved everyone wrong. Because your story matters too. Your journey matters. Your success matters. And the more we share these stories, the more we remind each other that we're not alone. That survival is possible. That transformation is real. That success after trauma isn't just a fairy tale, it's a choice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to Amelia's story. Thank you for understanding that the best revenge is living so well that the person who hurt you becomes irrelevant. May you find your strength. May you build your empire. May you understand that being left was the universe making room for you to become who you were always meant to be. Now go. Build.
Create.
Prove everyone wrong. And remember, they didn't break you. They freed you.